Hi.
What did you say to me? You said you read Deuteronomy 28, and you said what?
I read the whole Bible. I started when I was 5, because my mama was either going to make me sit there and listen to her read it for an hour a day, taught her to let me read it for myself. Took a while. I was a kid, King James Version. I prayed for understanding, and maybe because I was a child and I really meant it, I was able to get it. Because I started reading that everything I was reading was not lining up with what they teach you on Sunday. And I kept reading. It kept being different. And I was a kid, so I thought maybe I was reading something wrong or I didn't have some understanding. It took me a while for me to realize it wasn't about me being right or wrong. The Word is right. And what the Word says is completely different from what they're going to teach you. I'm not going to teach you what's in that book. Got to read it. I was 5, started. By the time I was 8, I made it to Deuteronomy 28. At the end of Deuteronomy 28, I remember it clearly. I read it. I looked up and I said, wow, really? Wow, this is awesome. I was like, I know the only people that fit what's in this book of who it says that the true house of Israel is, the lost tribes of Israel. They're lost. They say they're scattered. We don't know who they are. I know who they are. It's clear. It's you guys.
What do you mean by you guys?
The folks that were sent through the transatlantic slave trade. The folks that are still in the lands of their captivity. Israel is in the lands of their captivity. There is no creation of the so-called Jewish state of Israel in 1948. That does not fit prophecy. There's people over there that call themselves Jews. They call their own selves Ashkenazi. If you go look at Genesis chapter 10, 1 through 5, it tells you Ashkenaz is descended from Japheth, Noah's son Japheth, not Shem. That means he's a Gentile. I'm a Gentile. We're Gentiles. And I wasn't brainwashed. I got the Bible before they do the brainwashing of the programming and try to make you think Egypt is white, which is ridiculous because it's Africa. So, all that's Africa. So, I'm thinking clearly because I'm reading, I know what's going on, And, I was a weird kid. I thought a lot. I thought about things. And, my mom, she was really cool because she never taught me no kind of hate. She taught me to respect.
So what you say about the 1/3?
Okay. That Bible that's told me the truth about the fake Jews, in Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9, they run everything. I got to throw this in there. They run everything. The media, the entertainment industry, the banking, the world, pretty much. All the wars we fight is because they tell us to go kick ass. That's what America is. We are the Satan's military arm. Why I say Satan, Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9. I know those who say they are Jews, but do lie and are of the synagogue of Satan. We done read they Ashkenazi, they Japheth. It's clear.
So what you say that about the 1/3 ruling the earth?
Okay, well, here's how I know that that's true. 1/3, because that's true, so the rest of it's true. You guys' story's in there, and it's all true. Lines up perfectly. It's the only thing that makes any kind of sense. 1/3 of all nations will be left at the very, very end.
You said
and
of
1/3,
Israel, right?
1/3 of Israel. You guys are going to be on top, y'all. Hi.
What did you say to me? You said you read Deuteronomy 28, and you said what?
I read the whole Bible. I started when I was 5, because my mama was either going to make me sit there and listen to her read it for an hour a day, taught her to let me read it for myself. Took a while. I was a kid, King James Version. I prayed.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, wa Malak Yahushai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Alright, we're going to dive right into it. Picking up from that video that was just watched, you have the so-called white woman, which is Esau, according to the Bible. That is her biblical nationality. It is Esau. Edom. That's the people that she descends from. And so in that video, you'll find her speaking the truth. And yes, although she may be a heathen, they can still speak the truth. Right? Now, I don't say this so Israel can marvel, these brothers, they accepting the heathen. No, la'ah. Emphatically la'ah. These heathen are going to be the same ones that's going to be working in the fields day in and day out, turning big rocks to little rocks for the men of the Lord that's out there on the highways and byways. Right? These are the same heathen that's going to have to walk miles barefoot and experience everything in Deuteronomy the same way we had to experience it. So don't get it twisted, right? And don't marvel that the so-called white woman or white man, whoever for that matter, can speak truth. Don't marvel at those things, right? If you're familiar with the Bible, you'll understand that the Most High can use any man and or beast to bring out his word. For an example, in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, and we'll begin at getting to the point, verse 20. Right, for those who don't know, I'm not going to get the entire story, but you had a man named Balaam, or Balaam, and he was evil. He was a wicked man, a warlock, if you will, and he had a donkey, right? Now the Bible is going to read ass, but an ass is a donkey. So in this story, I'm going to dive into it. Verse 20, and God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, thou shalt do. And Balaam, and this is the Lord speaking. Now, just because the Lord is speaking to Balaam doesn't mean Balaam is righteous. Doesn't make him 1/3. Doesn't mean he's going to be seated at Yahushua's table. Doesn't mean he's going to have that cloak of purple and a crown. That doesn't mean anything, right? Remember in Job, in which we'll get later in this video, that the Lord deals with man and nations. Verse 21. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now when he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him, and the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. And so this animal, this beast, was given the ability to see things beyond what man can see. And some people in this world, they may experience that. They may acknowledge or realize that their animal is looking at something that you can't look at. So if your dog is looking into the corner, you look in the corner and you don't see nothing, that dog is seeing a spirit. He could possibly be seeing a spirit, or maybe he's just being a beast and just looking at nothing, right? But nevertheless, that's what's happening in Numbers 22 and 20 on down, right? You have this ass being able to visibly see this angel, and no one else can see it. Verse 24, but the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, a wall being on the side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further, stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn, either to the right or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down unto Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with the staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, because the Most High has the ability to make the deaf, the dumb, the blind, the mute. The Lord has the ability to make the crooked straight and the straight crooked. He can do whatever he wants. He can bend, mold, and manipulate the elements at his will. I mean, he even made light by his voice. So, in this account of Numbers 22 and 28, we find that the Lord is performing a miracle by allowing this ass to speak. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass. Now Balaam isn't too surprised, being as though he's a warlock. So in his field, this is probably nothing too extraordinary. But to us, it's pretty marvelous to see and or hear the account of a donkey speaking. Verse 29 again, and Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there were sword in mine hand, for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And so the Lord was also able to, not that anything is impossible, but the Lord showed us that he opened the eyes of Balaam. So sometimes on another level, Your eyes may be closed on certain matters, maybe be closed to you knowing that you're Israelite for dispensation of time, and then the Lord can open your eyes. Although you can see the spectrum of colors, the Most High can open your eyes to understand and see the spiritual. The same way he did with Elisha's servant. Verse 32, and the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And so the Most High can destroy your works and destroy your counsels when your ways are perverse before him. So if you're trying to figure out why you're not getting that job, it's because that job is wicked unto you. If you're trying to figure out why that woman doesn't want to message you back, it's because that woman is perverse. And those actions are perverse. He has another path for you. Right? Now, I don't mean to go down a rabbit hole and go on a tangent. I digress. But the point of the matter was to prove to Israel that the Most High can use anybody as a vessel to bring out that word. Right? To drop a truth. You know? Hath he not done so even unto Cyrus? When you read in the book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. So with that, we understand that the Most High has the ability to stir up any man's spirit and or beast to further increase his name, to further put fear upon the people. And so, ultimately, by the words of the Lord that's coming through this so-called white woman, Lord willing, that'll be further proof unto you Negroes. Because unfortunately, as sad as it may be, saddest is to say, a lot of so-called Negroes, and I say so-called because you're not a Negro, but if you want to act like this, like that, that's what it is, right? That's a curse, right? Being called a Negro and a black man. And a lot of you so-called Negroes, you may only believe if a so-called white person says it. That's the only time a so-called black man will hear. Is if a white man or a white woman tells you. Because surely on the highways and byways you have an innumerable amount of people having their hearts filled with doubt when they hear somebody speak the word or speak the truth. That's the same complexion as them. But guess what? That goes back to the curses of having an evil eye towards your own brother. Having an evil heart towards your own brother. That's that insecurity. That's that so-called black man is worth nothing. Therefore, he can never tell me anything. Right? But we're here to switch the doctrine. We're here to switch the narrative. Right? We're here to reverse those roles. Reverse these things. Reverse these curses, if you will. Right? But if you want to act like a nigga, we're going to call you a nigga. You know? If you want to be a beast, you're going to be a beast. Right? So, let's bring out John chapter 1, verse 5. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. And the light is the word. You can do nothing against this truth. The word is going to constantly shine forth brighter and brighter and brighter until the day of the coming of the Son of Man, which is Yahweh Shai. It's only going to get brighter in this thing. Meaning that all the darkness, that veil that Esau laid upon this earth, is only going to be dark for so long. It's only at nighttime for so long. You only have your eyes closed for so long. This is Ecclesiastes 10:15. Let's bring this out. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. he took some of them away and destroyed them, and hath made a memorial to cease from the earth. Right? And that's what's happening now. This is time and the place for everything. The time of sowing the seed is active. That's the time that we're in now. But as that's happening, this earth and the rulers thereof, the princes, they're being plucked up. They're being exposed for their naughtiness and for their wicked crimes and activities. All the things that was done in the dark is slowly being dispersed. So let's bring out Philippians chapter 2, verse 10. Before we get that, let's get 2 Ezra 14 and 8. That thou lay up in thine heart the signs that I have showed thee, and the dreams that thou hast seen, and the interpretations which thou hast heard. And that's beautiful. That's a true account, right? You have to take up the signs that's being shown upon this earth. Brothers are seeing what Esau may call the aurora lights more frequently. We're seeing more blood moons more frequently. It's more earthquakes. It's more tsunamis. There's more evil works being done, right? It's more atrocities being fulfilled, more landslides, less food, more race wars, more world wars, more accounts and activities of these nations going at each other's necks. These are the signs that the Lord is showing you. This is what we pray for. This is what we shaking a hand for. This is why we throw up the curses every Friday and Saturday after camp. Because we want this place to end. We're tired of paying bills. We're tired of working for the so-called white man. And Esau, it's like in us as men, we love work actually. Don't get it twisted. Man, we love working with our hands. Whenever the opportunity is fit, we're going to find some work with our hands, whether it be around the house, out in the yard, or, other type of labor. We love working, but not for Esau, the so-called white man, because he is unjust in his work. He breaks all the OSHA laws. He doesn't pay you at the end of the day according to the scriptures. He may make you fall into sin upon your work. He's just ethically immoral. And his ways are perverse and his judgment is just faulty. So don't get it twisted. We love working. We're going to be working in the kingdom. Right? But not the type of work that we're under in this modern day time. Jake, you got to work damn overtime. Time and a half. You're not getting paid when the sun set. You get 15-minute lunch breaks in a 10-hour shift. Or you may get none. So let's wrap up with Philippians chapter 2, verse 10. I got another one after this, actually. That at the time of Yahushua every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth, that every tongue should confess that Yahushua Mashiach is Lord, to the glory of the Father. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And so these heathen that may acknowledge or believe the Lord and that we're Israelites, they're not going to get beamed up. All right? Let's be real. If there was any doubt in your mind, if you were still unsure or uncertain, they're not getting beamed up. They're not going to be in the pearly whites. They're not going to pass the gates. They're going to be destroyed on this earth and they're preserved for the future kingdom and building it up. But their knee will bow. They will serve in reverence and honor the Lord. The scriptures speak of that. We've done breakdowns on that. They will definitely serve Yahweh Shemi Shai. Or else. They're going to get a rod to the back and a foot upside their head and a backhand across their cheek. And I don't say that figuratively. This is to be said literally. The same way we was forced to worship white Jesus. And if we didn't, we'd get 5 stripes on the back and a busted jaw and broken teeth and bruised knuckles. and castrated and tarred and feathered, so shall it be with them that don't serve Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Right? And I want to, just put it out there. We're not going to castrate them. That's just beyond cruel. Right? The Lord never said castrate anybody. But they will be tortured. There will be torment set in place. There will be burdens set in place. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Yaradan, that's too much. Pause the video. You're going too far. You're sadistic. You're a pervert. Hold on. It says in Sirach 33 and 24, a fodder and wine and burdens are for the ass, and bread, correction, and work for the evil servant, or so like it for his servant. So a fodder and wine, they're instruments utilized to make sure that your servant is constantly in motion. And burdens are for the ass, meaning burdens are literally meant for a donkey. A donkey isn't created on earth just to look cool, just to be able to kick strong. It's meant to carry burdens, and so shall our servants. And bread and correction and work for an evil servant. And so it is for a servant. If thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou find him go idle, he shall seek liberty. You can't have your servant to be idle. You need him to be at work, put his hands to the plow. And it reads in verse 26, a yoke and a collar do bow the neck. So are tortures and torments for an evil servant. So this lines directly up with Philippians 2 and 10 and how every knee shall bow. Yeah, every knee will bow. You understand? And they're going to have a fitted yoke customed for them. It's not going to be bedazzled. It's not going to be crocheted. It's not going to look cool. It's going to be a nasty, rusty, old chain. If you ever saw Django, that's the chains they wearing. Verse 27. Send him. And you know what? For Purim, I'm going to give the Lord willing, if it be the Lord's will, I give my servant an iron chain so he can give it to his servant. Or give it to his neighbor. I'm going to tell him to do it. And that's all they're going to get for Purim. Chains and irons. And fetters and irons. That's all they getting. And maybe a crumb. Maybe a slice of bread. And a slice of cheese. And an Oreo. And some orange juice. And that's all they get. In verse 27. Send him to labor that he be not idle. For idleness teacheth much evil. Set him to work as is fit for him. If he be not obedient, put more fetters upon him. Put more fetters on. The Lord is instructing us how to take care and how to treat a servant for the days to come. But he did mention this. He did say, be not excessive towards any, and without discretion do nothing. Esau, they didn't want to apply that. That's why they castrated us. That's why they made us commit incest. That's why they made us eat abominable things. That's excessive. We're not going to be excessive, right? We don't need to be excessive to get the message across. Only a pervert has to do that. Verse 30. If thou have a servant, let him be unto thee as thyself, because thou hast brought him with a price. That's right. We're not just going to just start killing every single servant we have in the kingdom because we bloodthirsty and we tired and we angry. I mean, now what, brother? What servant do you have now? Who's going to tend to your field? Who's going to till your ground while you're occupying your time with more important things? So with that, I'm a bid Israel Shalom. Abba Ratazah Israel has been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and may understand the times that we're living in, and that these days are at hand, and to repent and come back to the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom.